Morning all, hope you're enjoying these daily dusts, because I'm certainly having fun making them, so post in the comments if you are or not. This match was insane. Let me explain why. That dropship there basically is carrying a group of Seraphim up to the tower. Basically they're going to do our little forge gun trick that we showed you probably 6 months ago. And God bless them because they make the match actually quite incredibly good by doing so. Let's explain. We're doing dominations at the moment, and I think in terms of tactics, this video I think was an exemplary example of how to run dominations, because I was going to say dominions then for some reason. Anyway, so the thing is, the reality is that often in most dominations you get 2 squads. Now it can be 1 squad and a bunch of randoms, or in some cases it could even be 3 squads, but most generally I would say you generally get 1 squad, or rather 2 squads operating in some form or another. Now in this case we have exactly that. We have Seraphim on the tower behind us, and we have Academy Inferno and friends basically running the base on the ground. So I don't think they were communicating, because if they were they would have won, spoiler alert. But basically the Academy Inferno guys were completely held at this gate here with this CIU, as you'll see. And the Seraphim guys were basically setting up ambush so that anybody who hacks the point is basically in a big world of hurt, because they're using forge guns. So that's pretty much the scene. Have I set the scene for you? You know, this is it basically. Now our squad and our group, we were I think there were 2 squads on our side. It was obviously Dark Star and another one, which name I forget, but again, this was a great example of where defense is actually quite, I think, easier than attack in some cases. And we'll certainly spotlight this as we go. Now, the reality is that when you have these bases like this with the compound, it's actually very difficult to attack, because basically you are channeled through a gate, or you have to kind of flank round, and it doesn't make life terribly easy when you've got this constant inability just to run straight to the objective in this one particularly. Now again, this is where dropships and spawn pads really can help you out by having a multiple fronted attack. You stand a better chance of success. Now these guys for some reason just assaulted from one point of view. As you can see, we're killing the odd spawn pad we find, but the reality is that they just came at us from one angle all match. Now the thing is, they never gave up. This was quite incredible. And with the Seraphim guys basically raining down destruction, they were obviously sending in 1 or 2 of their squad mates, as you see here, to do the hack, because that tactic of sitting on the tower is useless if they don't have the capture point. So buggers, they got it, and then as I try and counter it, I didn't realize at this point that's what they were doing until I realized, bang. Oh yeah, they're doing that. So this changed the whole kind of assault profile now, because now we realize what they're doing. Our kind of focus is, okay, let them capture the point, give them nothing to shoot for a moment, but our primary focus was to null this attack from outside the gate. So went kind of shotgun banzai against these dudes. Did you see that? I don't know if you saw that. Basically my shot connected with the guy but didn't do damage. I know I keep harping on about that, but that does seem to be a problem. I think CCP should probably have a look at that, because I think there may be something where the coding looks like it's hit but it hasn't, if that makes sense. I don't know, but anyway, I'm pretty sure I did hit him. I have to wind it back and have a look at it. But here we go. So this is where I think the shotgun scout versus the AR really starts to come into its own. Unless you're a very good shot with the AR, the strafing capability of a scout suit, as you see me doing there, it's very hard to hit. And as long as you've got a pretty good buffer of a shield, it doesn't have to be sort of, I mean 300 is more than enough. You generally can tank the odd spray shot that they'll get on you. So again, hopefully that was interesting, because I think that was a pretty interesting kind of way to kite basically the AR users. As you can see, this one is pretty much over from this point of view, so I think now our attention turns to getting A back. And you see the blueberries keep running in and getting forge gun. It's pretty funny, isn't it? Look at that. And bloop, dead. So it's a bit of an annoying tactic. So what I said to the squad was, don't bother trying to fight them. We have to wait for an orbital, because once you've got that orbital, they are in trouble now. So we basically just continue to compare, to repel borders against these guys. You see, lovely tactic of just running around the corner with the shotgun, basically blap a few people, and then when they do that, that's always beautiful because then you get another kill. And then really, as you see, just ducking and diving, dodging and weaving really, and I think it's boom, headshot. So the shotgun is good when it's good, it's bad when it's bad, and it's so weird. It must be it must be me, it must be human problems with these guns, because yesterday I played a lot of rounds, and I would say for half of the rounds it was brilliant, for the other half it was awful, and I think for this round it's working well. And I often wonder if it's the level of alcohol I have in my blood. It could be, it literally could be that, but yesterday the latter ones were doing a lot better than the earlier ones. And as you can see, just ripping it up with the shotgun. Anyway, so I think by this point we're very close to having our orbital now. And I think this kind of constant attack from these dudes, props to them, they've kept bringing it, I'll give them that. And a lot of protos were killed that day, let's just say that, that's for damn sure. But I think that's the best thing about it. Right, so here we go, orbital's in position, and we say, right, drop the bomb, the whole squad converges, and then basically their attention's diverted because obviously they have to get the hell out of the way. The reality was is we did orbital their entire gang, so they didn't even try and jump off. They literally were just absolutely owned. So we've now got the capture point. So the pendulum switched back to us, and now what happens now pretty much is my role changes. I become more of a support. So I let the other guys basically hold this line. And I say to them, I think me and from Alaska, top dude by the way, we just basically sit back and defend the objective, which isn't terribly interesting, but I think in terms of getting the win, you sometimes have to do that. And so we basically, move away from this position, and then we start to basically just protect the hack, because you can pretty much guarantee they want the hack back. They don't want to lose, because obviously they care about their win-loss ratio. We don't. But you've got to kind of force people to come at you. Their tactic of forge gunning is wasted when they don't have the objective, and that's pretty much where we got to. Now, props to these guys, they kept breaking. So again, you see it happen again? I actually shot him there and it didn't register, then I had to shoot again. Very, very weird, isn't it? Anyway, so it's a fantastic tactic, I think, when running dominations, that you deny their entire tactic by doing it. So here we go, they're hacking the point again. Absolutely pissed off at this point. So I've got to kill him before the hack happens. Oh, look at that. And that's pretty much what they're now, the whole tactic of the tower sitters is basically they have to get the capture point back, otherwise no one's going to go for A and they're not going to get any kills. So basic, and they did actually fly all the way back up there. I forgot to mention that. They actually just literally, their whole gang just went straight back up there. So here we go, just me sat here again, waiting, and then here we go, somebody moves in. Now they're forge gunning, trying to stop us. They kill me, but luckily we got the guy, so no hack for you. So eventually they realise that this isn't going to work, so their entire squad drops down. I shoot one in the face and run away faux-foing and trolling into the distance, and then we start to converge back on them. Now, again, this is where I do think scout suits will always own heavy suits. I know, controversial, but look at our ability to completely flank and move around, and we just literally ran rings around these guys, and they basically got owned with Nova knives, shotguns, scout suits. So, post in the comments if you agree. I think rarely would a heavy gang ever beat a scout gang if the scout gang had the drop on them. If it was the other way around, of course the heavies would win. But I just think this was a great example of how powerful scout suits are versus heavies, who, let's face it, they're not the most subtle. You can see them very clearly on the radar coming, and pretty much once you've got them in your sights with a shotgun will kill most things. So here we go, almost the end of the match. They do a massive attack on the point, so I throw myself suicide into stopping them getting the hack, and boom, no hack for you, and boom for me. Isn't that brilliant? And then basically we capture the point. So, and then as that happened, again, this is where the uncoordinated nature of these two gangs was evident. As that Seraphim gang attacked the objective and we called all our troops to that point, the Academy Inferno gang start to run in, and then we basically orbital them. So absolute props to John McGeechee there, because we were fighting a war on two fronts, and we just spanked both fronts incredibly simply. And then last few ebbs of the match, just a few of them keep dropping down, trying to capture stuff. In terms of clones, very close battle. But I would say, in terms of tactics, in terms of ownership of the map, I think it was us all the way. Now, interesting. I think I'm more than happy to debate that. If you post in the comments if you think that was a good tactic or not. But sometimes you don't want to fight a war on two fronts, but sometimes you're going to be put in that position. So I would say, hopefully, this is a good exemplar of how to basically deal with those things. A lot of the time, it comes down to basically how you position your team and where you put your guys. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. That to me was, and again, this is just in general. I think the game is really good now, and it's always been good, but I would say it's become excellent now. And I think some of the fights we had yesterday, versus what the French versus Seraphim versus, Russian Thunder Squad, Blauhelm, these are really good corps, and I think everybody's roughly at the same level. In terms of veterans now, so I feel that the battles are just getting absolutely excellent. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.